we're learning new details about an extraordinary use of executive power that could effectively help shield President Trump from additional scrutiny of his finances and legal conduct. It's all part of that settlement that was announced earlier this week to resolve Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over the leak of his tax returns. That settlement led to the creation of a nearly $1.8 billion fund to compensate Trump allies who believe they've been unjustly investigated and prosecuted. MS Now reporter Britt Miller has more on what's in this controversial deal.
President Trump in high spirits at the White House.
We're going to have one hell of a time for the next few years.
Showing no signs of concern during the annual congressional picnic as a settlement over his $10 billion lawsuit with the IRS draws criticism. The Justice Department quietly posting this document on its website, guaranteeing the IRS won't come after him, his various businesses, or his family members over pending tax audits, saying the United States is, quote, forever barred and precluded from prosecuting or pursuing any and all claims against him. Senator Elizabeth Warren slamming the order on MS Now.
I don't know how else you could hold up a bigger sign that says the President of the United States is deeply concerned that he has committed tax fraud.
It's just one part of the settlement in exchange for the president dropping his suit against the IRS over leaked tax returns. The deal comes a day after the DOJ created what it's calling an anti-weaponization fund worth nearly $1.8 billion. They would be used to compensate people claiming they were wronged by Biden DOJ investigations, including January 6th insurrectionists.
It's not $1.8 billion that fell out of the sky. This is taxpayer dollars.
The settlement signed by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was grilled by lawmakers yesterday.
Will you commit that no one who has been convicted of assaulting a police officer will receive a payout from this fund?
And whether an individual, an oath keeper, as you just mentioned, applies for compensation, is anybody in this country can apply.
Are there going to be rules that say that if you've assaulted a Capitol Hill police officer or committed a violent crime, you will not be eligible? Why not make that a rule?
I expect that, because I'm not one of the commissioners setting up the rules.
Todd Blanche could not commit to saying that people who beat law enforcement officers would be available, these funds would be available to them.
Former Capitol Police officer and congressional candidate Harry Dunn calling the fund a slap in the face.
It's an insult to people, not just to me, not just to my coworkers, but to the American people. The American people watched with their own eyes and they saw what happened on January 6th.
Approximately 1,500 insurrectionists were pardoned when Trump took office in 2025.
These payments will signify as long as you commit violence in Donald Trump's name, you will be rewarded for it. Not just forgiven, you will be rewarded. And that's what this message sends.
And a growing number of Republicans are skeptical of the fund, including Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who told reporters he's, quote, not a big fan. Back to you.
MS Now's Britt Miller with that report. Joining us now, former Assistant Director for the Office of Congressional Affairs at the FBI and former Legislative Counsel for the DOJ, Greg Brower. He's a partner at the Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck firm. MS Now senior national security reporter David Rode joins us now, and Kurt Bardella still with us as well. My thanks to all of you. Greg, starting with you, just your thoughts on this fund, which, you know, we heard the acting attorney general there. We heard Vice President Vance in the White House briefing room yesterday not definitively rule out that those who participated in January 6th could benefit from this. They have not ruled out that even Trump and his family could benefit from this fund. Just how unorthodox is this? What sort of message does it send to law enforcement?
Well, good morning. It's unprecedented in every way. That was a very interesting hearing yesterday. You heard a lot of concerns expressed in a bipartisan way by members of that Senate committee for good reason. There's never been anything like this before. There doesn't seem to be any underlying reason for a fund. This idea of weaponization is something that has been a political talking point, of course, for a few years now, but there's really never been any kind of evidence established that DOJ was weaponized or the federal government was weaponized against anybody. And as you heard senators from both parties suggest, there may be all kinds of issues with respect to potential corruption regarding this fund. So I don't think we've heard the end of it from Congress yet. There are a lot of questions, again, in a bipartisan way. Senator Thune, as you mentioned, among those who are wondering if this is really necessary and how this would work. So we will see. But this is, again, it's safe to say we've never seen anything like this before. And I think this administration is going to have to really prove to Congress and the American people that it's not only logical, but it's necessary. So we'll see.
And David Rohde, as if that's not all, we learned yesterday that as part of this concept, there's a one-page document posted on the DOJ website that includes a sweeping release under which the IRS is forever barred and precluded, I'm quoting here, from pursuing examinations of Trump related or affiliated individuals and related trusts and businesses. In short, further giving him immunity from any possible prosecution and shielding himself, his sons, and his business from any possible audit forever.
It's extraordinary. I'm thrilled Greg is here because I talked to him before we got on air. No president and no attorney general has ever done anything like this, as far as we know, in American history. Essentially, the acting attorney general who's auditioning for a job from President Trump is issuing a de facto pardon of the president, his children, and his businesses regarding these past investigations that, audits of his taxes. This has never happened before in American history. It's an extraordinary abuse of executive power. And we've seen that over and over again. Tremendous reporting by our colleagues Carol Leonnig and Ken Delanian pointing out these abuses of power. But this is just unprecedented. I wrote a book on the Justice Department about this. And it just goes back to a core American belief. 3 branches of government with co-equal powers. This should go to a judge. It's a judge that decides whether some kind of settlement like this coming out of the executive branch is legal or not. So we'll see what happens next. But this is an incredible, I think, crisis for the rule of law in our country.